Yo guys, what's up? It's Julian. Today I'm just gonna be showing you some quick tips on how to make sort of like some Pierre Bourne type like new school kind of melodies and just like ideas, I guess, for your beats. So to start off with, I have this thing. I'll just play it for you real quick. So it's really simple. It's just like one of those little sine wave type of sounds with a little bit of reverb. Yeah, it literally is just a sine wave, and I messed with the envelope like that, and then the reverb. Um, and then the way I made the MIDI is like what I want to talk about. So what I hear a lot in like Pierre Bourne and like a lot of these kind of producers' style now is a lot of like major seventh, major ninth, and minor seventh and minor ninth chords. And what these are is, if you don't know, like a regular major chord is just this. There's C major. But then when you start adding voices on top of it, you get like a seventh or a ninth, or it goes up like 11th, 13th chords, all those kind of things, which I'm not going to get into. But when you start adding voices on top, it gets like, it gives it a little bit more sauce, basically. Because like you have that, and then if you add this extra voice on top of here, this B, then you get that's a major seventh. And then when you add this D, then you get a major ninth. And so it's a really nice kind of sounding chord for the style, because it just has like that sort of like happy, kind of like carefree type of vibe, you know? And it's like a good way also to not just be using basic triads. Like just basic, like if I just used, the basic major chords for this, it wouldn't sound as good. It just doesn't work as well. And then to come up with these melody notes on top, I kind of just followed this sort of like chord pattern. And what I mean by this is, if you notice, for each of these, it goes, there's 3 notes in between, and then 2 notes in between, and then 3 notes in between, and then 2 notes in between. And in between, the ones where there's like, could be 3 notes in between, you can also just do that, where you put a note in between them. So that's kind of what I did. I just followed that pattern to make this melody. So I did, it's just like, you can see there's 1 note in between those two, and then 2 notes in between those two. So it follows the same pattern. And I mean, this was like really easy for me to come up with. I came up with this in like 2 seconds right before I started filming this video. And it was just because I knew, okay, I'm going to make something with major ninth chords, and I'm going to make a little melody just following the pattern of the chords. So like if you're struggling a lot, that can help you quite a bit, to just sort of look for patterns in your chords and try to like follow them for your melody. And yeah, another thing I want to get into is like that I think Pierre Bourne and a lot of other like new producers are really good at, is like making things with a synth and making things like in the computer that sound sampled. So what I mean by this is, like, a lot of times, okay, for example, like a really popular technique is to take, like, you would take this and then freeze it and then flatten it, and then we'll go in and reverse it. And so now what we have is this. And so that's like a whole new thing there. But what happens is, I made this completely in the computer, and I didn't like use any samples. I didn't like sample any old records or anything like that. But this sounds like a sample. Like this sounds like something that I kind of like did some things to, you know? So it's important to try and do this kind of stuff, because like you don't want your things to just sound like just like basic. Like what I think Pierre Bourne does really well is his sounds aren't just like obvious. Like they don't just, it isn't just like, oh, okay, he just played that in on a piano. Like a lot of times when you hear it, it's kind of like you could pick out obviously like the melody notes and stuff, but it's not really like, it's just not really obvious. Like I was saying, like, yeah, it's just not really obvious what he's doing, and it gives it like just a cool, like weird, mysterious kind of vibe. Like, yeah. So another technique you can do is you can play around with like effectrix and gross beat. So obviously a lot of you probably know what gross beat is. You can do a few things. You can do like the pitch shifter. That has like a cool vibe because it's all clicky. You can maybe like half speed it. Yeah, I mean that's all right. But then you can also do like effectrix. So you can maybe like, let's say I'll unreverse this. I guess I could have just used the keyboard shortcut for that, but whatever. And then you could try one of the presets. You could try like backwards vocals. You could just do some like reversing. If we get the default preset, I could just get like the reverse there on those last that last couple beats there. And you could do like this. Or like, there's a lot of stuff, like ways that you can play around with it. But that's really it for today, guys. The main key points I want to take away here are like the major 7th, minor 7th, major 9th, minor 9th chords. And also, like, just doing stuff, like having the mindset of like trying to make it not just sound like something that you just played in on MIDI and that was that. Like, trying to give your sounds like an interesting character. Like, I think Pierre Bourne is very good at sound design. Like, he's got both the melodic, like the composition aspect of it, like writing melodies and chords, and the sound design aspect of it down really well. And he's like packaged it into this nice thing that you can, that you can listen to. So that's really it for today, guys. I hope you learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, share this video if it really helped you out. I'll see you guys again for another tomorrow. I will see you guys again tomorrow for another tutorial.